Well, good morning, Badgers. It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for your Monday morning quickie. And I can't believe this is Christmas week. Christmas is coming up this week on Thursday. And wow, it's just amazing to me that it's already Christmas time. But look, it doesn't mean that we still don't get after it. I'm Krista. You know who I am. Let's just be clear about that. And I'm about to validate every questionable decision that you've made in the name of growth. So today I want to talk about faith, fitness, and why signing up for that December 5 a.m. class that you've been contemplating when you can't even find your left shoe in the dark might just be the smartest dumb decision you make all week. We still have plenty of time left to kick it in 2025. So grab your pre-workout, question your sanity, and let's dive into why sometimes a little bit of delusion is just vision that hasn't happened yet. So today I want to talk about more fitness than I do on a Monday morning quickie, but it is blended with growth. So we all have this moment in everybody's fitness journey that makes absolute zero logical sense, right? Maybe it's downloading the workout app at 11:47 p.m. after if you've had your third glass of wine, or maybe it's buying, running shoes when you haven't run since you were a little kid and somebody was chasing you around, or maybe it's telling your coworker, yeah, I'll totally do that 5 a.m. boot camp with you. Or maybe, it's me saying, I am so in for a 50K trail run in 2026, right? When you know that just literally scares you to death. Or maybe it's like you haven't, seen 5 a.m. from the front side since 2019. Your prefrontal cortex is screaming, oh my God, what are you thinking? This is idiotic. While your thumb hits confirm registration. I've been there. I do that a lot. So, and that's what I want, that when I think about going through, I love a good quote, and going through quotes, and it reminded me of a quote from A Miracle on 34th Street. Faith is believing when common sense tells you not to. And that is also the definition of signing up for that 5 a.m. workout class, or signing up for that 50K trail race, right? Sometimes delusion is the solution, because here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It requires a spectacular break from reality, from easy, from soft. It's going to be hard. Nobody wants to talk about having to put the hard work in, right? I'm not talking the kind where you think you can bench press a Toyota, but the kind where you believe the version of you that doesn't exist yet is somehow going to show up at dawn. That's not logical, right? That's not reasonable. That's faith. It is, you're literally start living your life as if, right? And that's the secret sauce that every single success story refuses to admit started with magnificent self-deception, living as if you already are. So there is neuroscience of necessary delusion. So Dr. Tali Sharot's research on the optimism bias shows something very fascinating. Our brains are literally wired for productive delusion. So when you imagine future you crushing that workout, your brain activates the same regions as if you are actually doing it right in that moment. That's why you hear a lot about the visualization with the Olympics and high level athletes and stuff like that. This prospective memory creates neural pathways before your body ever shows up. It's pre-gaming for your transformation. Your brain doesn't distinguish between, I'm definitely getting up at 5 a.m. and actually getting up at 5 a.m. until reality kicks in. But here's this whole perfect, beautiful little magical thing. That delusional certainty the night before increases your chances of following through by 73%. And the research gets wilder. Dr. Martin Seligman's work on learned optimism shows that people who maintain positive illusions about their abilities consistently outperform realists. It's not because they're, more talented, but because they attempt more, they try more, they do more, right? They sign up for the harder things. They believe in outcomes that haven't happened yet. They basically gaslight themselves into growth, and it fucking works, right? I do this. I'm actively getting better at doing it more and more. So the 5 a.m. delusional protocol, it's a scientific breakdown. When you sign up for, and I'm using this as the example, it can be something else for you. But when you sign up for that December 5 a.m. class, here's what actually starts happening in your brain. First, there's this hot state decision, and George Loewenstein had coined this term. You're emotionally activated and probably inspired by someone's transformation post, whatever it is, or by your own frustration. And your brain floods with the dopamine at the idea of change. So this is the delusional moment where anything feels possible. Then comes the cold state reality. So at 4:47 a.m., when your alarm goes off, and if you live in my neck of the woods, December is being December right now in the biggest fucking possible way that you can imagine. Your bed has developed gravitational superpowers that say, don't do it. And if you have dogs snuggled up next to you, they're saying, don't go. Okay. Common sense says, go back to sleep. You're a maniac. Your dogs say, stay right here. We're snuggled. We're warm. We're cozy. But faith, it's that beautiful, irrational faith whispers, you said that you would. So the battle between those two states is where this transformation, it lives or dies. So why December makes it even more delusional and also more powerful. And let's be specific about December 5 a.m. workouts, because this is peak delusion territory. It's dark until basically like noon. I mean, it's not, but it feels like it. It's cold as fuck, right? And it's cold. It's cold enough to just start questioning everything. And everyone else is in hibernation mode. And your circadian rhythm is screaming, this is nighttime. It's not time to get up. Now, Dr. Russell Foster's circadian research shows December morning workouts go against every biological instinct we have. And that's exactly why, in fact, they work. So when you do the most unreasonable thing at the unreasonable time, you break your own limiting beliefs about what's possible. You literally prove to your nervous system that you're not governed by comfort or conditions. You're governed by commitment. That's not fitness. That is actual faith in action. So what are the compound effects of consistent delusion? So here's where it really gets epic, right? The first delusional sign up leads to one showing up. So one showing up leads to two. Two leads to, holy shit, I'm a person who works out at 5 a.m. Dr. James Clear's Atomic Habits research shows identity shift happens through accumulated evidence. So every time you honor your delusional commitment, you're voting for who you're becoming. And this starts with that first magnificent lie that you tell yourself. I'm definitely going to make it to that class. That lie becomes your truth through repetition, and the delusion becomes reality through action. Faith becomes fact through showing up. So common sense also has these moments of, being the enemy. So common sense says, sleep in, it's super warm here, it's so cold out there. And common sense says that, January is the time. Everybody does the January thing. That's the better time for fitness goals. Common sense says wait until conditions are perfect. We all know that's not fucking ever going to happen. Common sense is why most people stay exactly where they are. Dr. Carol Dweck's growth mindset research shows that breakthrough performance requires regularly overriding quote unquote common sense self-preservation tactics. So your brain's job is to keep you safe, keep you comfortable, and faith's job is to make you uncomfortable enough to grow. And they're supposed to be in conflict. The tension is where the transformation happens. Now, what's the strategic application of delusion? So not all delusion is created equal. Thinking you can run a marathon tomorrow when you've never run a mile, that's a dangerous delusion. Believing you can show up to a 5 a.m. class, even though mornings hate you, that's strategic delusion. The difference is when the dosage and the timeline, that's what matters. So Dr. Gabriel Oddington's WOOP method, which is wish, outcome, obstacle, pain, shows that productive delusion actually requires pairing optimistic vision with realistic planning. So you need both faith and the alarm clock set, right? It's the belief and the workout clothes laid out, the delusion and the direction. So your December delusion challenge, look, we've got how many days left in December? Okay, it's like 9, 10. You can do this. Like, I totally have faith. I have faith in you. Here's what I want you to do this week. Sign up for something that makes common sense cringe. Maybe it's that 5 a.m. class. Maybe it's the lifting program you've been stalking. Maybe it's joining the Gritty Glitter Badger fitness membership and hopping into that rage lift, right? Getting ready for the liminal lift that's coming up. This is especially important because just committing to movement every damn day when December is saying rest, whatever it is, let it be slightly beyond your current reality and let it require faith over evidence. Because here's the truth. Every single person you admire started with a delusional belief in a version of themselves that didn't even exist yet. They had faith when a common sense said stop. They signaled or they signed up when their logic said to sleep, and they showed up when everything said quit. So sometimes, quite honestly, the most intelligent thing you can do is override your intelligence with audacious hope, right? And sometimes the solution really is a productive delusion that you're capable of more than your current reality suggests. And sometimes faith is just stubbornness with better PR. And that's exactly what your transformation needs. So, Badgers, that's your quickie for this Monday morning. Here's what I want you to remember. Common sense keeps you common. Faith makes you extraordinary, even if it starts with that one absolutely unhinged decision to start your alarm for stupid o'clock, whatever time that is, right in December. So this week's mission, sign up for one thing that makes your logical brain throw a tantrum. Then set the alarm for that to feel, set the alarm to a time that feels personally offensive. And then commit to something your common sense says is an absolute terrible thing to do. And then watch what happens when faith beats facts, because transformation isn't about being ready. It's about being willing to look slightly unhinged in pursuit of who you are becoming, because your future self is counting on current you to be productively delusional right now. So get out there, make some beautifully irrational decisions that are going to move you forward. Your comfort zone will be here when you get back. It's always going to be here. Gather in dust where it belongs. So stay gritty, stay glittery. And when in doubt, choose the thing that requires more faith than evidence. Don't just go through life, grow through life.